Ah. I asked you for a door, you gave me a valley. I prayed for open skies, you sent me quiet nights. You didn't say a word, yet my fears were fading. Grace was speaking louder than the questions in my mind. I was looking for a reason, you offered revelation, not in how you moved, but in what you let remain. My heart was begging for a sentence, but heaven whispered in a language I could never name. So I stood inside the silence, where faith teaches what words cannot. And I learned you can be faithful even when the answer looks like not. You didn't tell me why, you didn't tell me when, but you showed me who you are, and that was more than any explanation. You answered without explaining, and somehow I still understood. You were never trying to calm the storm, you were calming me instead. You answered without explaining, and the peace was evidence that sometimes heaven's kindness is an answer wrapped in silence. I've carried prayers like luggage, dragging them across the years, but you lied in me with presence, not with sudden disappear of every fear or burden or unanswered plea. No, you simply stood beside me, and it started losing weight in me. I used to think that miracles were thunder in the sky, but now I know they're quieter, like help that never had goodbye. There were nights I begged for reasons, but you offered only rest, and I woke up with more courage than the questions I confessed. You didn't fill the silence, you just turned it into trust, and somehow that was better than the answers that I wanted so much. You answered without explaining, and somehow I still understood. You were never trying to calm the storm, you were calming me instead. You answered without explaining, and the peace was evidence that sometimes heaven's kindness is an answer wrapped in silence. Maybe faith is not conclusion, maybe faith is being led where the path is still confusing and you walk while feeling fed. Maybe heaven doesn't answer in the language we prefer. Maybe God is always speaking in a voice we cannot hear. Maybe mercy is a whisper, maybe healing takes its time, maybe guidance is God's timing, choosing when to leave aside. I don't need to know the reasons, I just need to know you're near. You don't owe me explanations, you've already given peace. I don't need to understand it, I just need to stay in step. If the shepherd walks ahead of me, then I'll follow, nothing else.
You answered without explaining, but I
Saw your fingerprints on the days that felt like endings, on the nights I called for strength. You answered without explaining, and my heart found evidence that obedience bursts understanding. Long after the moment ends, I asked for clarity, you gave me confidence. I asked for knowledge, you gave me nearness, and that is why I'm singing now. 'cause the silence wasn't empty, it was full of you.
I asked you for a door, you gave me a valley. I prayed for open sky, you sent me quiet night. You didn't say a word, yeah, my fears were fading. Grace was speaking louder than the questions in my mind. I was looking for a reason, you offer revelation. Not in how you moved, but in what you let remain. My heart was begging for a sentence, but heaven whispered in a language I could never name. So I stood inside the silence,
where faith teaches what words cannot. And I learned you can be faithful, even when the answer looks like not.
You didn't tell me why, you didn't tell me when, but you showed me who you are, and that was more than any explanation. You answered without explaining, and somehow I still understood. You were never trying to calm the storm, you were calming me instead. You answered without explaining, and the peace was evidence that sometimes heaven's kindness is an answer wrapped in silence. Yeah. I've carried prayers like luggage, dragging them across the years, but you lightened me with presence, not with sudden disappear. Of every fear or burden or unanswered plea, no, you simply stood beside me, and it started losing weight in me. I used to think that miracles were thunder in the sky, but now I know they're quieter, like help that never had goodbye. There were nights I begged for reasons, but you offered only rest, and I woke up with more courage than the questions I confessed. You didn't fill the silence, you just turned it into trust, and somehow that was better than the answers that I wanted so much. You answered without explaining, and somehow I still understood. You were never trying to calm the storm, you were calming me instead. You answered without explaining, and the peace was evidence that sometimes heaven's kindness is an answer wrapped in silence. Maybe faith is not conclusion, maybe faith is being led, where the path is still confusing and you walk while feeling fed. Maybe heaven doesn't answer in the language we prefer. Maybe God is always speaking in a voice we cannot hear. Maybe mercy is a whisper, maybe